Are we forcing our dogs into our crazy, overwhelmed, stressed out, rat race kind of a lifestyle instead of letting our dogs do what they do best? That's what we're talking about today, so stay tuned. Hi, I'm Kathy Kowalik, and I believe that our dogs connect us to the heart and soul of what really matters in life. So hang out, and we'll take a deep dive into the human-dog connection and explore strategies that will inspire you to create legendary, enlightened partnership with your dog. This is the Enlightened by Dogs podcast. Well, hello, Kathy Kowalik here, your host of the Enlightened by Dog show. So, I read an article and it got me thinking. And the first thing is I was thinking about how we talk a lot about, and there's a lot of research about how dogs, help us to live a better life. They keep us sane. They keep us grounded. They listen to us. They, show us the finer things in life. So there's a lot of research about how good dogs are for us humans. But this article got me thinking about, is it actually reciprocal? I mean, are we pulling our dogs into our crazy, stressed out, overwhelmed life? Is that how we are paying them back? I mean, unintentionally, of course, right? So yeah, I've been thinking a lot about this. So I wanted to talk about that today. And before I do, I wanted to give a shout out to one of our listeners who left a review on iTunes. Thank you very much. It was a glowing 5-star rating with a review. And this is from Steph DB. And Steph says, I just found this podcast and listened to my first episode. I'm so glad to hear about ways to form strong partnerships with dogs that don't rely on treats all the time. And I can't wait to learn more. This is going to be a podcast that is on my binge list until I get caught up. So thanks so much, Steph, for taking the time. Well, first of all, to listen, but also to leave a rating and review. You are amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So let's talk about this article. So I saw this article. It was on the Business Insider website, and the title of the article is Neuroscience Shows That 50-year-olds can have the brains of 25-year-olds if they sit quietly and do nothing for 15 minutes a day. All right, so that's the article. I thought, oh, that's interesting. I wonder what this is all going to be about. And so it's a really short article, but the gist of it is that they're talking about a couple of studies that were done. And one study was done with brand new meditators. So people that had never meditated before, didn't know how to, etc. And I'm just going to give you a quick quote from that article, because this is like the backstory about what I want to talk to you about regarding our dogs. So this is like the backstory piece. So here's the quote. Even just 8 weeks of meditation changed people's brains for the better. There was thickening in several regions of the brain, including the left hippocampus, involved in learning, memory, and emotional regulation. The TPJ, which is involved in empathy and the ability to take multiple perspectives, and a part of the brainstem called the pons, where regulatory neurotransmitters are generated. Plus, the brains of the new meditators saw shrinkage of the amygdala, a region of the brain associated with fear, anxiety, and aggression. This reduction in size of the amygdala correlated to reduced stress levels in those participants. And so that last piece is the piece that really piqued my interest, and it really got me thinking. So what they're saying here is that the actual physical structure of the brain of these new meditators changed in a noticeable way, so that center, the amygdala, that center of our brain, the part of our brain where, our safety and our fears and all that sort of originate, actually became smaller. And when that became smaller, stress was reduced. Okay. So that's the part that got me, my brain like whirling, which is what it does, right? All right. So now I'm thinking, well, isn't that interesting? I wonder if we humans are pulling our dogs into this crazy, stressed out lifestyle that so many humans live in as whatever. And if that's actually causing physical brain structure changes in our dogs. Like, I don't know. I have no idea if that is true, but like, if anyone wants to do like some research or their PhD thesis on that could be kind of sort of an interesting topic to explore. But, so here's what I'm thinking. Right? So we know, and this studies have been proving this for, along many years. So we know that as little as 15 minutes of meditation per day can have a remarkable effect on raising the quality of a human's life, right? I mean, we know that that's a proven thing. And personally, I can vouch for that. We also know that humans have a remarkable effect on their dogs. I mean, not only have we co-evolved with our dogs, so we have like a DNA deep connection, but we also are bonded, and we also have a shared social intelligence with our dogs, humans and dogs, right? So we have this close connection, this coevolution, and a tightly shared social intelligence. And so that causes us to affect our dogs in a very significant way. Now, of course, it also causes our dogs to affect us, which is why we read the articles, we see the research on how dogs lower blood pressure, make our hearts healthier, change our stress levels, etc., help us to feel safe and secure and all that stuff. So we know that, like we know that stuff. But the other piece that I want to pull into this, and this is like from my own work and my own non-official research, let's call it anecdotal. I know, because I've been working with humans and their dogs for so many years, and so I see the same, I see patterns, right? And I see repeated struggles and issues. And so I know that our modern dogs are often living in this over-aroused state, right? So they're demanding attention, they're triggered, they're reactive, they're also anxious and stressed, fearful, and that's leading to other types of behaviors, right? And if you've been listening for a while, or if you're familiar with my work, or if you're in one of my programs, you know that one of the ways that we remedy that piece is by paying attention to how filled our human stress/cortisol buckets are becoming, and the same for our dogs. And so if our dogs are living with a full bucket of stress and cortisol, because we are living with a full bucket of stress and cortisol, and that is influencing our own feelings of calm and safety and all that, we're like, whoa, man, like this really gets me thinking, right? And so because of that dynamic, I teach, a big part of my work is teaching the safe, calm, and happy protocol. And if you've been listening to the podcast, you've been hearing me talk about this. Obviously, if you're in the Brilliant Partners Academy, you're living this. We're coaching you through this, right? And so safe, calm, and happy protocol, along with a lifestyle where 50% of our engagement and our dog's activity is low to no arousal. 50%. So that could be things like, snuggling, massage, taking naps, grooming, etc. Right? So low to no arousal, like some kind of quiet games, etc. Now that's very individual because, what one dog may find low arousal, another dog may find highly arousing. Like if one dog loves, grooming, like my my Sheltie Haley comes to mind. She's waiting at the Rainbow Bridge, but she's a Sheltie, so she's got a big thick coat, and she loved grooming. I mean, she would lay there for like 2 hours, and let me just brush her and pull out her undercoat, especially when she was shedding, etc. Now, other dogs would have a completely different response to grooming, right? Like, no, thank you very much. And so, that's just one example. So we use our dogs, our dogs themselves as the yardstick for, what is no or low arousing to them. But we want to go for 50% of our dog's, possible active time with us, engaging time, assuming that most dogs are sleeping in the, 17 to 20 hour per day range, depending on their age. Now, of course, some days may be different, but, I'm talking about like overall average, etc., typical for most dogs. More sleep for puppies and young dogs and old dogs, and probably a little bit less for like young, active, healthy dogs. Okay, so here's where I'm going. Now here's my next thought about this is, are we unintentionally, of course, causing our dogs' brains to expand the amygdala region, which is the part that causes increased fear and anxiety and aggression and triggered types of behaviors, because we are preventing them from doing what dogs do best, right? I mean, what I mean? And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But if we're not allowing our dogs to be dogs and to do for themselves and for us what dogs do so well, man, are we unintentionally creating this, not just in behavior, but in actual physical brain structure changes? I'm like, like mind bomb, right? Because what we're often thinking by mistake is that we have to like work harder at continually keeping our dogs enriched, entertained, and over-exercised, like, because that's what we believe we're supposed to be doing. And it's a common mistake that is really detrimental to our dogs, to the quality of their life, and in turn to the quality of our life, right? And so it really prevents us from living that brilliant life together that we want, which is our main thing, right? And so what do dogs do best, right? What is it that dogs do best? Like, obviously dogs are unique and individual, etc. But looking at like a broader perspective, what dogs do best is live in the moment and really experience today and what's happening around them today, right? They're awesome at living in the moment. They're great at, smelling of dog roses, just taking the time to enjoy, the sights and sounds and smells that interest dogs, right? These are things that humans don't do in this day and age, and what dogs can help us with if we would allow them to. Plenty of napping in the sun or napping in the shade, digging in the earth, staying grounded and connected to the earth, walking in the rain, playing in the snow, splashing in the pool, chasing butterflies, cooperating, collaborating, making heart connections. Dogs love fully. We know this about them. This is one of the reasons we love them so much and we love them in our life. They just love fully. They put them whole selves into loving those that they love. And they're so willing to communicate their true feelings and express their genuine personalities. Dogs are great at working hard, playing well, resting long, right? Those are some of the things that dogs do best. And so are we keeping them from doing the things that they do best, that keep them balanced, that keep them happy and thriving, and that allow them to do that for us? Are we literally preventing that symbiotic, synergistic lifestyle from happening because we're so busy being busy, continually, like I'm using air quotes here, like, enriching, entertaining, over exercising our dogs. I see it so much. And so what can we do, right? What can we do about that whole picture? Well, I think, that's one of the pieces that the Safe, Calm, and Happy protocol brings into our life. That alongside the 50% low to no arousal activities, right? And so that's a significant portion of the time that you spend with your dog, and just being, just hanging out, just enjoying nature, enjoying life, enjoying reading a book, enjoy whatever, just enjoying watching your dog be a dog in your backyard or in your living room. You know what I mean? That is such an important part of life. And so how can you do that? Can you allow this process of letting your dog do what they do best and helping us to do more of what will help us to live a good life, which is one of the things that dogs do best, is helping bring us into that place. You know what I mean? So, I don't even know if this makes sense to you guys, but I feel so moved to share this with you. It seems so relevant. And for me, it was such a, like an aha, sort of like a laser pointer when I read that piece about literal brain structure changes, right? And so all the things that dogs do best, that's kind of like the doggy equivalent of meditation, right? And so a partnership lifestyle provides opportunities for our dogs to do that doggy equivalent of meditation, to do what they do best, which I think is a really good thing. So what do you think? I want to hear what you think, and I'd love to hear how you are going to make changes in your life to make it better, make your life better, make your dog's life better, and, consider changing your dog's brain for the better, and consider changing your brain for the better, and jump off that rat race treadmill for a little while every single day with your dog, and just enjoy life. That's what it's all about. That is what dogs are in our life for. That's the main thing, isn't it? So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got a lot out of it. And I would love if you would share with your friends, and if you would leave a rating and review on iTunes or your favorite listening app. So that's all for today. I'll see you next week. And in the meantime, be brilliant. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for listening. And hey, if you would like to work with me so that I can help you discover the missing pieces you need so that you and your dog can finally be happy and enjoy life together, then head on over to dancingheartsdogacademy.com and request your invitation to join us in the Brilliant Partners Academy when the doors open for the next enrollment. See you next time, and remember, a brilliant partnership with your dog makes your whole life brilliant.